single people can just hop from one relationship to the next, and not really be prepared, and then also not really know why we're doing what we're doing. And so I think that's important to have an understanding of who you are and why you behave the way you do.
Yes, very much so. And excuse me, that conversation was so wonderful last week. I'm just really excited to continue with it. And you know, a lot of things that was said last week, many probably took it the wrong way, but it's more to it. It's more to it. So I'm ready. Yvonne, can you hear us?
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
That is wonderful.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. Go ahead, Dani.
So yeah, I think that, you know, the conversation is important. You know, I don't think that we and it's important not only because of how we're wired as humans. We're wired to be in relationship with one another, and so it's important to understand what impacts relationships and what impacts how we behave when we get into relationship with someone, whatever the relationship is. It doesn't even have to be, you know, something intimate or a dating relationship. So I think that one thing that, you know, we have to focus on is how do you date? How do Christians date? And to be honest, the Bible doesn't say a whole bunch about it talks about marriage.
Yeah.
You know, it has plenty to say about marriage. But when it comes to dating, it's not to say that it's a free-for-all, but it can seem like a gray area. So, you know, I'm glad that Yvonne is with us tonight. She's Yvonne Chase.
Yeah.
She's also known as the single woman's cheerleader. As I mentioned, she's a dating and relationship coach to singles and pre-committed couples. And she's a believer in Jesus. And she's combined her faith with her passion to help people and to help people in their relationships and dating. And she wants to end the divorce rate. She wants to end divorce and bring that to a stop. You know. And one of the ways she's gone about doing that is by helping singles understand who they are before they get into a relationship, and to help singles just like live their lives and be fruitful and feel empowered as a single person, and then feel empowered as a dating person, so that they can actually live an empowered life and have a wonderful relationship. And she also wants to do that by introducing people to God and helping people understand what God's standard is for marriage. So, I'm excited. I'm so excited. Yvonne Chase.
Yes,
Listen, I'm all tongue-tied now. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So I know I'm giving a brief introduction of you, but go ahead and give us some background about yourself, your business, and how you got started doing what you do.
Okay, so my as you said, we met on Twitter a week ago, having that conversation about an educated woman in a relationship. And the work that I do, my conversation really comes from a place of empowering single women to live a great single life and date smart, to really really maximize on their season of singleness, to not look at it as some dreaded disease, but to really look at it as a time of discovery, a time of, it's a blessing, it's a benefit, and so I want them to see what's possible during this season, because we live in a culture that says something is wrong with you if you're single. And God forbid you're a woman of a certain age, you know, you don't matter. You know, something's really, really wrong with you if you're single. And so I want to just quiet those conversations and bring alive the message that nothing is wrong with you. And perhaps even if there is, you know, during your single season, that ought to be a good time to fix areas that may be broken. We all have broken areas in our lives, things that, you know, places we want to be better in, areas we want to work on. So instead of going from one relationship to the next, how about stepping off of the dating circuit and really using your season of singleness to become the best person that you can be with God's help. And then the conversation around dating, a lot of people don't know how to date. I have a totally different perspective on that whole conversation, and so that's what I impart to my audience. And all of it is mixed. It's my faith. My faith is the foundation of everything that I write at my blog, YvonneChase.com, and every conversation I have. So that's a little bit about me and how this all works.
Awesome. So dive in a little deeper. What made you go in this direction? I'm always intrigued by people who choose to go into a kind of a counseling type profession, and relationship and dating, coaching. Those are very much, kind of counseling and therapy type professions.
Right.
So why go there?
Well, relationships. I'm sorry. Relationships have always been important to me, and I was never taught how to date or have a relationship. It's something I sort of just figured out as I went along, just like many people do. And I remember being in a relationship that wasn't working, and I got introduced to the world of coaching, and I worked with a relationship coach myself and ended that relationship. And she coached a program specifically for singles, and it was a program that would really allow you to look at yourself and be the best you that you can be within the conversation of dating and understanding what's important to you in a partner and your reasons for dating and breaking relationship patterns and that sort of thing. And from working with her, it just spoke to everything that I had been passionate about in relationships. So I decided to go on and get certified in that area. My life is about people. Every day I have conversations with people. I love people. I like connecting with people, and like I said, relationships have always been my passion. So it was just a natural fit for me to go into that world.
Wow. And so you talk about how it was kind of a natural progression for you. What would you say has been? Let me back up. For someone that's interested in becoming a certified coach, what were the some key steps that you took to reach that level, and to actually be certified? I think a lot of people nowadays have just called themselves relationship coaches because people come to them for advice.
Well, no, I actually went to a school and
right.
worked
No.
through
I'm not saying that you did saying that, people need to know that there are actual steps to take.
Oh, yeah. There are a host of coaching schools and coaching programs out there. And so Coach University was around back in the day, so I did some coaching, some classes through them. Then I went through another program. So I went through a couple of programs to get certified specifically to coach singles and pre-committed couples. And pre-committed couples are couples that are in the space of considering getting to know each other on a deeper level for the purpose of marriage. And so it's a time in that time, you can move forward or have clients break up during that time of pre-commitment because they realize that, we're not on the same page, where there's non-negotiables here, and so they, break up and attract someone else. So I went to specific programs for singles and pre-committed couples and got my certification.
Awesome. Okay. So now, how long have you been a relationship coach?
I've been since 2002 or 3. Between 2002 and 2003, since then, yeah.
Now, what would you say have been some highlights of your career, some success stories that you can tell us without saying names, obviously. But what would you say has been the highlight of your career?
Well, what I will say is, I remember, as I mentioned just now about pre-committed couples, I remember I had a client, they were a couple, and they were engaged, but they were having a lot of problems in their relationship, and through us working together, they broke up and realized that they were trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, which a lot of people do because they've invested time and they don't want to walk away. They don't know how long it's going to take them to meet someone new. They're familiar, even though it's problematic. Familiarity, is comfortable for a lot of people. But they, through working with me, they had the courage to end their relationship. And a year and a half later, the woman met someone and is in a great marriage. So, and then I had another story was of a single woman who, she was older, and I guess, when you're single, you hang out around other single people, and you hear all kinds of stories. Many of them aren't good, just because of our culture of dating today with all the apps and swiping left and right and just, disposing of people like, So I think she was really affected by that and did not want to go through any of that. She had a great life, great career, world traveled, a good circle of professional friends and, and family. But that part of her life, her dating life, was just not happening. And I remember her telling me that she painted a picture of herself to me that I knew wasn't accurate. And I hadn't met her yet. We weren't living in the same city. And so a lot of coaching is done over the phone. So you don't need to necessarily be in the same city with that person, especially men, type and all those things. So I just kind of felt that this woman is exaggerating. She told me she was overweight, and I just felt in my spirit, I was like, she's not grossly overweight. I mean, I think a pair of Spanx is all she needs. And when I met her, I was absolutely right. I mean, she wasn't she didn't even need Spanx. She wasn't overweight at all, but she was just using that as a way to just keep her, as a way to not face, this whole dating world. And so after working with her, I said, I think internet dating would be good for you. And she was nervous about it because, you hear internet and you think creeps and crazy people and all like that. And I told her no. And so I got her situated with her profile and pictures and that sort of thing. And she got into those fields. She got into the space of going on dates because that was my priority with her. Just get out there and go on some dates, have conversations with men, get comfortable being in the presence of a man,